The whistle blew sharp as a razor, slicing through the humid air of the old high school gym in Elmwood, Illinois, where dreams went to sweat or die. I hit the mat face first, my brother's boot pinning my shoulder like he owned every inch of me. Which, in a way, he always had. "That's not enough, Alex. You fight like you're begging for mercy. Get up and hit me back, or I'll make you regret ever sharing my blood." I remember the exact moment it all cracked open, like a fault line under the cornfields back home. It was senior year, the kind of sticky summer where the air clung to your skin like regret, and Jake, my twin, my mirror, my goddamn curse, decided we were done being the quiet kids from the trailer park on the edge of town. "We're going out for the team," he declared one night over lukewarm pizza on our sagging couch. Mom nursing a cigarette in the kitchen while Dad's ghost haunted the empty lazy boy. "Boxing. You and me. No excuses." I laughed it off at first because that's what I did, laughed when Jake's intensity bordered on obsession. We were identical down to the freckle on our left collarbones, both with that messy brown hair that curled at the ends when wet, hazel eyes that shifted green in the sun. But where Jake burned like a bonfire, I smoldered, content to fade into the background. School was a blur of algebra tests and stolen glances at the quarterback in the locker room. Glances I buried deep, because Elmwood wasn't the place for boys like me. Not out loud, anyway. Not when the church steeple loomed over Main Street like a judgmental finger. But Jake? He saw potential in me I didn't know existed. Or maybe he just needed a sparring partner who wouldn't bail. By week 2 of training, after school in that echoing gym that smelled of liniment and lost hopes, he had me shadowboxing until my arms screamed. "Faster, Alex. Imagine it's everything that's ever held you back. Dad's booze, Mom's silence, that fear in your gut." His fists flew in perfect arcs, controlled fury wrapped in encouragement. I'd dodge, weave, counter weakly, and he'd grin that wolfish smile, the one that made girls, and a few guys, if rumors held, swoon at pep rallies. Nights blurred into a rhythm. Homework by flashlight in our shared room. Rent was tight, privacy a luxury. Then midnight runs along the gravel roads, fireflies lighting our path like hesitant applause. Jake pushed, always pushed. "You're stronger than you think," he'd pant, clapping my back too hard, his touch lingering a beat too long. I told myself it was brotherly, that the warmth pooling in my chest was just adrenaline. But late at night, when his breathing evened out across the 3 feet between our beds, I'd stare at the ceiling fan's lazy spin and wonder why my pulse raced at the thought of his sweat-slicked skin brushing mine during a clinch. The first real fight came during tryouts. Coach Harlan, a grizzled ex-Marine with a buzz cut and a limp from Nam, barked orders like he was still dodging bullets. Jake dominated, his jabs crisp as autumn leaves crunching underfoot. Me? I folded like cheap cardstock against Tommy Reyes, the farm kid with knuckles like hams. Tommy's hook caught my ribs, and I crumpled, tasting copper. The gym spun, laughter echoing off the rafters, until Jake exploded into the ring. "What the hell, Alex?" He shoved Tommy aside, not hard enough to start a brawl, but enough to make the air thicken. Kneeling beside me, he cupped my jaw, thumb rough against the swelling. "You let him in. Fight like you mean it." His eyes, inches from mine, held something raw, anger, yes, but laced with a desperation that mirrored my own hidden storms. I wanted to tell him then, spill it all. The dreams where his hands weren't just guiding punches, the way his laugh in the shower after practice made my stomach twist. But words stuck like gravel, so I just nodded, letting him haul me up like I weighed nothing. We made the team barely. Jake's fire carried us both. Practices ramped up, dawn till dusk on weekends. The gym our cathedral of sweat and salvation. Mom noticed the bruises blooming like ink blots on our arms. "Boys, this ain't healthy," she'd mutter, dabbing arnica on us with hands calloused from diner shifts. But Jake would charm her with tales of state qualifiers, visions of scholarships pulling us from Elmwood's chokehold. "It's for us, Ma. A way out." And damn if she didn't believe him, because Jake could sell ice to Eskimos. As leaves turned gold, so did our bond, or at least that's how it felt. We'd collapse after sessions, sharing Gatorades on the bleachers, talking dreams bigger than our zip code. Jake confessed his fears. The pressure to be the golden boy, the ache of Dad's abandonment when we were 10, how he'd punch shadows in his sleep to keep the darkness at bay. "You're the only one who gets it, Alex. My other half." His shoulder pressed against mine, solid and warm, and I'd swallow hard, pretending the spark was static from our jerseys. But cracks formed. Ryan Caldwell transferred in from Chicago mid-fall, all city polish and easy smirks, with eyes that lingered on the team's lockers a fraction too long. He sparred with Jake once, their bodies sinking in a dance of feints and flurries, and something twisted in me. Jealousy, sharp as a body shot. Ryan clapped Jake's back after, a casual "nice moves, man," that echoed in my skull all night. I started avoiding the showers, changing in stalls, my skin crawling with unspoken truths. One crisp October evening, after Jake pinned me in a grapple, his breath hot on my neck, whispering "yield," I broke. We were alone, the gym emptying like a sigh. "Why do you care so much?" My voice cracked, fists clenched at my sides. He released me slowly, searching my face as if seeing me for the first time. "Because if I don't push you, who will? We're in this together, Alex. Always." His hand on my arm sent fire through my veins, and I jerked away, heart hammering. That night, rain lashed our trailer like accusations. Jake knocked softly on the bathroom door where I'd locked myself in, staring at my reflection. His reflection, but softer around the edges. "Talk to me, bro." Silence stretched, then my whisper. "What if together isn't enough anymore?" He didn't press, but the next morning, training doubled. Dawn circuits, hill sprints till vomit burned my throat, endless mitt work till my knuckles split. He was relentless, a storm I couldn't outrun, and in the fury, I found a sliver of myself emerging, fiercer, hungrier. By Thanksgiving, we'd won our first regional bout as a tag team, Jake's knockout punch echoing like thunder, while I held the crowd's roar in my chest. Medals around our necks, we stood on the podium in Peoria, arms slung over each other, flashes popping like fireworks. "To us," Jake toasted with stolen beers later, clinking bottles under a harvest moon. I clinked back, the word "us" hanging heavy, a promise and a peril. But as winter bit into Elmwood, frosting the windows with secrets, Ryan started hanging around. Subtle at first, spotting Jake at weights, shared laughs over protein shakes. I told myself it was nothing, that my chest tightened from overtraining. Yet when Jake invited him to our Thanksgiving leftovers feast, Mom beaming at the extra plate, I excused myself early, feigning flu, and cried into my pillow for the first time since Dad left. Twins were supposed to share everything, but how do you share a heart that's fracturing? The betrayal simmered low, unnoticed amid the holiday cheer. Jake gifted me new gloves, embossed with "unbreakable" in silver thread. "For my fighter," he said, hugging me tight enough to bruise. I wore them like armor, but inside doubt festered. Was his push love or just another way to keep me in his orbit? And Ryan's knowing glances, did Jake see them too? Winter training turned brutal, snow blanketing the fields as we shoveled paths to the gym. Jake's intensity peaked. He'd bark corrections till his voice hoarsened, then soften with apologies over hot cocoa at the diner. "I just want you safe, Alex. Strong." His fingers brushed mine, passing the mug, and electricity arced. I pulled back, mumbling about calluses. Then came the scout from UIUC, University of Illinois, big leagues for kids like us. Dual scholarship potential, the man in the tweed jacket said, eyeing our footage. Jake's eyes lit like Christmas, pulling me into a bear hug that lifted me off my feet. "We did it. We're getting out." The gym erupted in cheers, slaps on backs, but as confetti rained, Ryan caught my eye from the sidelines, his smile pitying. Later, alone in the locker room, Jake stripped off his shirt, revealing the map of bruises we both wore like badges. "Proud of you, twin." He ruffled my damp hair, oblivious to how his nearness made the world tilt. That night I couldn't sleep. The scout's words looped. Potential. But whose? Jake's drive was the engine. I was the passenger, along for the ride. And Ryan, Whispers in the halls said he was different, like me, but bolder, out in whispers among the brave. When Jake mentioned a study session with him for an upcoming calc test, my stomach nodded. Need backup? I joked weakly. He laughed. Nah, we're good. Get some rest, you earned it. I didn't rest. I lay awake, listening to the wind howl, imagining their heads bent over books, knees brushing under the table. Jealousy wasn't rational. Jake was straight as an arrow, chasing cheerleaders like it was his job. But twins shared instincts, and mine screamed warning. The first snow fight of the season broke the tension, or so I thought. We pelted each other behind the gym, laughter echoing pure and boyish, snowflakes melting on flushed cheeks. Jake tackled me into a drift, pinning my wrists above my head. Gotcha! His face hovered, breath mingling with mine in white clouds. Time suspended. I could have closed the gap, tasted the frost on his lips. Instead, I bucked him off, scrambling up with a forced grin. Not fair, uneven ground. He let it slide, but his eyes narrowed, probing. What's eating you, Alex? You've been off since tryouts. Nothing, I lied, dusting snow from my jacket. Just tired. Bull. Spill. The words clawed up my throat. I'm scared of us, of me, of wanting what I can't have. But they died unspoken. Coach's pressure, I muttered instead. He bought it, slinging an arm around me as we trudged home. We'll crush it together. Always. Spring thawed Elmwood like a reluctant confession, mud sucking at our sneakers as training shifted outdoors. Jake mapped runs along the Mississippi's edge, where the river ran wide and whispering secrets to the bluffs. We'd pound pavement at sunrise, his stride syncing with mine effortlessly, two bodies in perfect rebellion against the pull of small-town gravity. Feel that burn? He'd gasp on uphills. That's freedom building. I'd nod, lungs fire, but the real burn was internal. Every accidental brush of hands, every shared water break where our eyes locked too long. Ryan wove deeper into our world. He joined runs uninvited at first, then as habit, his Chicago accent cutting through the Midwestern drawl like a fresh blade. You Midwestern boys got heart, he'd say, clapping Jake's shoulder, and Jake would beam, oblivious to how it carved me hollow. I lagged on purpose sometimes, letting them pull ahead, their laughter a distant sting. Ryan caught me once, falling back. You okay, Alex? Look like you're carrying the world. I shrugged, wiping sweat from my brow. Just pacing myself. His gaze lingered, understanding flickering, he knows. It unnerved me, that silent kinship, but also tempted. Could I talk to him? Spill the chaos Jake stirred without naming it? The state qualifiers loomed in May, a pressure cooker cranking up. Coach Harlan drilled us merciless. Sparring rounds that left us spitting blood, endurance circuits till vision blurred. Jake thrived, his form sharpening to a razor's edge, scouts buzzing like bees around honey. Me? I improved, hooks landing solid, footwork nimble but doubt gnawed. Was I fighting for the ring, or for Jake's approval? One muggy afternoon, post-drill cooldown, Ryan cornered me in the locker room. Jake was late, detained by coach. Steam curled from showers, the air thick with soap and unspoken tension. He talks about you non-stop, you know? Ryan said, toweling off casually. Like you're his North Star. I froze mid-lace of my boots. Yeah? What's he say? That you're the reason he pushes so hard. Keeps him grounded. Ryan's eyes met mine, steady. But you look lost, man. If you need to vent, I'm fine. The words snapped sharper than intended. He raised hands in surrender, but not before murmuring. Sometimes the closest stars burn brightest. Careful not to get too close. His warning echoed as Jake burst in, all energy and grins. Coach wants extra film review tonight. You in? I nodded, but Ryan's words lodged like a splinter. Film nights became ritual. Us three crammed in Coach's cramped office, popcorn kernels scattering as we dissected bouts. Jake's arm draped over the chairback behind me, fingers occasionally grazing my neck. Innocent, brotherly. Or was it? Ryan noticed, his commentary laced with double edges. Tight defense there, Jake. Like you two were born synced. Jake laughed it off, but I'd flush, excuses bubbling. Mom's health dipped that spring. Double shifts catching up, cough rattling like loose change. Jake shouldered more, picking up grocery runs, but it frayed him. One night, he snapped at me over burnt toast. Can't you pull your weight, Alex? Or is everything on me? The words landed like a cheap shot, and I fired back. Maybe if you weren't always dragging Ryan everywhere. Silence crashed. His face paled, then hardened. What's that supposed to mean? He's a teammate. Teammate. I echoed, bitter. Right? He stormed out, door slamming like a guillotine. I paced our room, regret churning. Hours later, he returned, reeking of river mud, eyes red-rimmed. Sorry, he muttered, collapsing on his bed. Pressures got me twisted. No mention of Ryan. I wanted to bridge the gap, confess everything, but fear glued my tongue. Instead, I tossed him my spare pillow. Truce. Truce. His smile was tentative, but when our hands brushed, neither pulled away. Qualifiers arrived under a relentless sun, Peoria's arena pulsing with small-town frenzy. We drew tough brackets. Me against a wiry kid from Springfield, Jake facing a brute from Rockford. Nerves jangled as we taped knuckles in the underbelly, the roar above muffled thunder. We've got this, Jake said, pressing his forehead to mine. A twin ritual from childhood forts. His scent, sweat, tape, him, flooded me, and for a heartbeat, the world narrowed to us. My bout was a grinder. 8 minutes of dodging haymakers, countering with jabs that finally connected. The bell rang, judges gnawed my way, victory by decision. Elation surged as I leaped the ropes, Jake crushing me in a hug that lifted my feet. That's my brother. His pride washed over me, pure as spring rain. His fight, poetry in motion. The Rockford kid charged like a bull, but Jake danced, weaving, striking with precision. A final uppercut dropped the brute cold, the ref's count a formality. The crowd erupted, but Jake's eyes sought mine across the chaos, a beacon. We clinched medals that night, silver for the team, but gold in each other's grins. Celebrations spilled into afterparties at a riverside bonfire sparks mirroring stars. Beer flowed loose, stories tall. Ryan pulled Jake aside for strategy talk, their heads close over a cooler. I nursed a soda, the fire's heat no match for the cold knot in my gut. When they returned, Jake's cheeks flushed brighter than the flames, Ryan's hand lingering on his elbow. Enough. I slipped away, wandering the riverbank where willows wept into the water. Footsteps crunched. Jake. Hey, runaway. Where's the fire? In my head, I admitted, skipping a stone, flipped 4 times before sinking. He sat beside me, knees bumping. Talk. The dam cracked. Ryan. What's with him? Feels like I'm the third wheel in my own life. Jake stiffened. He's a friend, Alex. Chill. Friend. The word tasted sour. Does he know about us? How close? Pause, heavy as humidity. What do you mean, us? You know. My voice trembled. The way it's always been. Just you and me against the world. He exhaled slow. Yeah, and it still is. Ryan's just helping with stuff. Stuff. Echoing again. Like what? Like figuring shit out. His tone sharpened, defensive. Not everything's about you. The slap of that stung worse than any punch. I stood, gravel biting soles. Forget it. Enjoy your new bestie. Alex. But I was gone, weaving through party stragglers, heart a war drum. Back home, Mom asleep to late-night TV. I punched my pillow till feathers flew, whispering accusations to the dark. He sees you. He has to. Days blurred into avoidance, stilted practices, clipped words. Ryan's presence amplified the rift, his easy camaraderie with Jake a knife twist. Yet training persisted, Jake's pushes undimmed, as if sweat could cauterize wounds. Focus! He'd snap during mitts, but his eyes pleaded, don't quit on me. The regional semis hit in June, heat wave turning the gym to a sauna. We advanced, but tension simmered. Post-win cooldown, Jake cornered me. We need to fix this. Whatever this is. It's you shutting me out. I shot back, stripping tape with vicious yanks. I'm not. God, Alex, you're impossible. Frustration cracked his voice. I push because I love you, idiot. More than anything. Love. The word hung, loaded. I met his gaze, searching for subtext, but found only raw sincerity. Prove it. I whispered, reckless. He did, in the only way he knew. Next dawn, he dragged me to the river at 4 a.m. No Ryan, just us. We swam laps against the current, bodies slicing water till exhaustion claimed us. Treading side by side, gasping, he splashed me lightly. Better. Yeah. And it was, for a moment, the world reduced to ripples and his profile gilded by rising sun. But Ryan's shadow lengthened. Whispers reached me. Late-night drives. Bro hangs that stretched past midnight. I confronted Jake after a grueling hill session. Lungs burning. Tell me the truth. Are you with him? His laugh barked sharp. With? Like what? Dating? Jesus, Alex, you're paranoid. Then why the secrets? No secrets. But his eyes slid away, and that evasion was betrayal's first bloom. Summer crested, state finals beckoning. Mom rallied, baking victory pies. Coach preached dynasty. Yet in stolen moments, Jake's touch softened. A hand on my lower back during warm-ups. A forehead kiss after nightmares woke us both. Night, twin, he'd murmur, and I'd lie awake, tracing constellations on the ceiling, wondering if stars felt this torn. The breaking point brewed at a pre-finals camp in Springfield. Team bunked in a musty dorm. Ryan roomed with Jake, I with Tommy. Sleepless, I wandered halls at midnight, drawn to their door by muffled voices. Pausing, heart thundering, I caught fragments. Can't keep pretending. Feels right. Jake's voice, hesitant. Ryan's low rumble. Your brother. Complicated. I fled, bile rising, the corridor spinning. Back in my bunk, I curled fetal, sobbed silent. Betrayal crystallized. Not an act, but a truth. Jake harbored my secret too, and Ryan was his harbor. Dawn training was hell. Jake noticed my distance, cornering me post-spar. What happened? You ghosted. Overheard you. The words escaped, barbed. With Ryan. Feels right. Color drained from his face. Alex, it's not. Save it. I shoved past, jersey tearing at the seam. The camp dissolved into focused fury. I channeled hurt into hooks that bloodied pads. Finals eve, storm clouds gathered, mirroring my turmoil. Jake slipped a note under my door. Meet me by the bleachers. Please. Rain pelted as I went, soaked to bone. He waited, drenched, expression stormier than skies. You jumped to conclusions. Did I? Sounded pretty clear. It's complicated. He raked wet hair. Ryan gets it, the stuff we don't talk about. The not straight stuff. My world tilted. We. Yeah. Whispered, like sin. Me too. Figuring it out. But you're. Everything. Always. Thunder rolled, and so did I. Forward, crashing into him, lips seeking in the deluge. He met me halfway, tentative then fierce, hands framing my face as rain mingled with tears. Alex, he breathed against my mouth. My Alex. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, the kiss a revelation and a risk. What now? I asked, voice small. Together, he vowed. Always. But vows in storms wash away easy. The kiss lingered like ozone in the air, electric and ephemeral. As we trudged back to the dorms, hands brushing but not clasping. Too raw, too new. Jake's confession hung between us, a fragile bridge over chasms we'd ignored for years. We'll talk after finals, he murmured at my door, thumb tracing my jaw before vanishing into shadow. I collapsed onto the bunk, body humming, mind reeling. Twins loving like this? It was poetry and peril, a Midwestern Romeo and Juliet without the feuding families. just the weight of our own reflections. Sleep evaded, replaced by replays. His lips soft yet insistent, tasting of rain and revelation. Dawn broke gray, team breakfast a blur of carbs and chatter. Jake sat across, our knees knocking under the table, a secret Morse code. Ryan eyed us sidelong, fork pausing mid-bite, but said nothing. His silence screamed volumes. Finals opened that afternoon in the Springfield Coliseum, a cavern of echoes and anticipation. Bracket luck paired us wisely. Me drawing a lightweight from Decatur, Jake a southpaw from Bloomington. Locker room buzzed. Taping, psyching, coach's gravel pep talk. Leave it all in there, boys. Hearts on sleeves, gloves up. Jake caught my eye, a nod loaded with promise. For us. My bout kicked off round one frenzy. The Decatur kid was slippery, all angles and agility, but Jake's phantom pushes fueled me. Every dodge a memory of his grip steadying my stance. I landed a cross in the third that wobbled him, following with a flurry that forced the ref stoppage. TKO, crowd roaring as I raised a glove, scanning for hazel eyes. Jake hooped from the sidelines, pride beaming brighter than the spotlights. His turn came at dusk, arena lights casting long shadows. The Bloomington southpaw was methodical, picking apart defenses with probing jabs. Jake absorbed early punishment, blood trickling from a split brow, but rallied in the fourth. Feinting high, hooking low, a combination that folded his opponent like wet paper. Bell clanged victory, he staggered out, medal destined, straight to me. Our hug was public, chaste, but his whisper scalded, "Couldn't without you." Award ceremony blurred into elation. Gold for Jake, silver for me, team trophy hoisted amid flashes. Ryan clapped us both. His congrats, legends, laced with something bittersweet. On the bus home, Jake claimed the seat beside me, our thighs pressed in the sway. "Tonight," he mouthed when coach dozed. My nod was all agreement. Elmwood welcomed heroes. Parade down Main, Mom waving from the diner's stoop, homemade banners fluttering. But home was a pressure valve. Mom's questions over pot roast. So proud, boys, scholarships next. The town's prying eyes. We stole moments. Washing dishes side by side, suds bubbling as fingers intertwined under the sink. Porch swings at midnight, stars winking complicity as heads leaned close. The first real night came a week post-finals. Dad's old pickup rumbling to the river bend where we'd skipped stones as kids. Jake spread a blanket under willows, cooler stocked with sodas, no alcohol, not yet, not us. Fireflies danced as we lay back, hands linked tentative. "Scared?" he asked, voice threadbare. "Terrified." Honesty spilled easy in the dark. "What if it's wrong? Us?" He turned, propping on elbow, face moonlit. "Feels right to me." Then he kissed me again, slower, exploratory. Lips parting, breath sinking like our footwork. Hands roamed chaste. Collarbones traced, backs arched into palms. No rush, just discovery, the mirror of self-loving self amplified. We broke for air, foreheads touching. "I pushed you to train," he whispered. But really, I was training myself to be brave enough for this. Tears pricked. "Why Ryan?" Confusion. He winced. He saw it first. My stares at you during practice. Offered an ear, a test. But it was never him. Always you. Forgiveness bloomed. Tentative. We talked till dawn. Dad's leaving fracturing us. Mom's quiet strength our anchor. The closet's chokehold in a town where faggot slurred easy from pickup trucks. "We'll go to college," Jake planned, fingers lacing mine. "UIUC big enough to breathe. Come out when ready. Together. Together." The word anchored me through summer's haze. Training didn't stop. Scholarships hinged on form, and Jake's fire reignited, now laced with tenderness. Mornings, he'd wake me with a nudge and a stolen kiss on the temple. "Up, champ. World won't wait." Runs along the levee, his hand grazing my ass in passing. Playful, charged. Gym sessions, spotting each other at bench, eyes locking in silent vows. Ryan faded gracefully, transferring focus to his own pursuits. A nod at practice, a take care, before summer break whisked him to Chicago. No hard feelings, he texted me once. Happy for you both. Be kind to each other. Relief washed, but wariness lingered, betrayal's scar. Faint but there. Fall semester loomed, acceptance letters gold-foiled arrivals. UIUC full rides, dual majors. Jake in kinesiology, me in lit, words my quiet rebellion. Packing commenced amid tears. Mom hugging fierce. My warriors. Call every Sunday. Pride swelled, but so did fear. Big city, new skins. Could we shed Elmwood's weight? Departure day dawned crisp. Leaves carpeting the drive. Jake loaded the last box. Sweat beating despite chill. Ready. His grin masked nerves. As ever. I bumped his shoulder, the gesture loaded. The drive to Champaign-Urbana stretched 4 hours of mixtapes and what-ifs, jobs off campus, Greek life dodged. Pride flags spotted on campus like beacons. Dorms assigned us separate but adjacent halls, a mercy. Unpacking blurred into orientation chaos. Syllabi stacks, roommate meets. Mine a lacrosse bro from the burbs, straight arrow but chill. Evenings, though, we carved ours. First weeks were whirlwind. Lectures droning, parties pulsing with bass that shook bones. Jake navigated easy, charm opening doors. I hung back, notebook shield. But nights in his room, door locked, we unraveled. Kisses deepened, explorations gentle. Necks nuzzled, shirts discarded to trace ribs with fingertips. Beautiful, he'd murmur, echoing my thoughts of him. No further. Boundaries respected. Love's language in whispers and holds. Campus whispered freedom. LGBTQ center flyers plastered walls. Coffee hours humming with stories like ours. We attended one incognito, hands clasped under tables, listening to tales of coming out, rejection, reclamation. Soon, Jake promised after, walking me back under street lamps, on our timeline. But cracks spiderwebbed. Jake's schedule ballooned varsity boxing tryouts, study groups, a part-time gig at the rec center. Mine eased into rhythm. Poetry slams, library nooks. Distance crept. Missed dinners, late texts. Swamped, rain check. Became refrain. I nodded understanding, but loneliness gnawed. Elmwood's echo in urban sprawl. Midterms hit like a sucker punch, grades dipping, stress spiking. Jake withdrew, punching bags till knuckles bled. Confiding less. One night, post-exam haze, I found him in the gym, midst flying furious. What's eating you? I asked, catching a pad. Everything. He deflated, stripping wraps. Scouts watching closer. What if I choke? Drag us down. Us. Echo again, sharper. This isn't just your fight. I know. Guilt shadowed his eyes. Sorry. Just pressure. We made love. Not crossing lines, but closer. Bodies entwined on his narrow bed, breaths ragged. Hands mapping scars from old bouts. I love you, he gasped. The words a vow etched in skin. Always. Love you, I echoed, shattering. Winter quarter thawed illusions. A party invite, Jake's new teammates, boisterous crew from the ring. I tagged along, nursing a beer in the corner as laughter swelled. He shone, stories flying, but a hand on his knee from a teammate. Playful? Twisted my gut. Later, in the kitchen haze, I overheard. Dude, your brother's hot. Twins thing? Wild. Jake's laugh easy. Yeah, he's something. Something. The word festered on the drive home. Silence thick. Jealous? He teased. But I shook head, lie bitter. Truth erupted over Christmas break. Home in Elmwood's hush. Mom sensed frost, plying pie and probes. New Year's Eve, bonfire at the river, full circle. Fire crackled as we sat close, champagne fizzing. Missed this, he admitted, arm around me. Me too. Honesty cracked. Feels like you're slipping. His hold tightened. Never. Just adjusting. But adjustment bred distance. Spring bloomed, campus greening, but our rhythm faltered. Jake's fights ramped, Bruin Invitational, bruises blooming. I attended, cheering hoarse, but post-win glows dimmed. He'd crash alone, claiming recovery. Texts lagged. Busy. Love ya. Love ya, not you. Casual erosion. Betrayal's second bloom came subtle. A mutual friend's slip at a coffee shop. Saw Jake with that guy from the team, Ethan? Cozy at the quad. My stomach plummeted. Ethan. Cocky lightweight, all smirks and stats, who'd eyed Jake during tryouts. Confrontation brewed that night in his room, door ajar. He scrolled phone, oblivious. Who's Ethan? Casual as weather. His flinch betrayed. Teammate. Why? Saw you. Cozy. Paranoia flashed, then defensiveness. It's nothing. Practice talk. Like Ryan. Venom slipped. He surged up, face thunder. Don't. That was different. Was it? Volume rose. Or are you running scared again? From us? Us. Mocking now. This twin crap. It's messing with my head, Alex. Can't think straight. Literally. The slap, verbal, visceral, landed. So fix it. Choose. I am choosing. Roar echoed. Boxing. Future. Not. This complication. Complication. Knife twist. Me, you mean. Silence condemned. He raked hair. Defeated. Didn't mean God, Alex. It's all tangled. Need space. Space. The word exiled. I grabbed jacket. Storming into night. Rain slicking cheeks indistinguishable from tears. Campus blurred. Feet carrying to the rec center. His sanctuary, now mine. I punched a bag till fists raw. Echoes of his pushes mocking. Fight back. Dawn found me curled on a bench. Phone buzzing. Sorry. Come back. Talk. Ignored. Days stretched to weeks. Civil in halls. Frost in glances. Mom called. Sensing rift. Boys, life's too short. Wise but wounds fresh. Climax brewed at the Big Ten championships. May maelstrom in Minneapolis. Team flew up. Me tagging as support. Irony bitter. Jake dominated prelims. Golden boy ascendant. Semis night. Hotel bar hummed. I nursed soda, watching him hold court. Ethan sidled close, arms slinging casual. Jake didn't shrug off. Enough. I cornered him in the elevator, doors sealing us. Choose now. Or lose me. Panic flickered. Alex, not here? Now. Ultimatum steel. He cracked. I can't. It's too much. The team scouts us. Ethan. He's easy. No history. Betrayal bloomed full. Thorns ripping. Easy. Whisper broke. I'm your history. You're my mirror. He choked. And it's breaking me. Elevator dinged. Doors parted. I stepped out, world fracturing. Finals dawned without me. His gold won solo. Cheers hollow on TV back home. He called post-victory. Voicemail raw. One for us. Please, Alex. Come back. But bridges burned. Exile tasted like stale coffee and solitary runs. Champagne's paths mocking our old sink. I transferred credits midsummer. Lit program at a smaller school in Bloomington. Close enough for Mom's visits. Far from Jake's orbit. Packing gutted me. His hoodies in my drawer. A forgotten medal tangled in socks. Left them ghosts to haunt. Elmwood swallowed me gentle. Mom's diner shifts became mine, wait tables. Flirt harmless with truckers, pocket tips for tuition. Nights, I drive the river road. Radio crooning Springsteen anthems of broken highways. Jake's texts piled. Miss you. Talk? Deleted unread. Betrayal's sting dulled to ache. But love's residue clung, stubborn as rust. Fall quarter started subdued. Smaller classes, quieter dorms. I bloomed tentative poetry club, where words wove wounds into verse. A tentative coffee date with a barista named Theo. Curly-haired poli-sci major with a laugh like wind chimes. You're intense, he said after our second walk, hands brushing tentative. I smiled, but inside, compared no fire, no mirror. Safe, though. Kind. News of Jake filtered piecemeal. Mutual friends' posts. Mom's updates. Varsity starter dating Ethan publicly. Kisses snapped at tailgates. Captions winking Bruin power couple. Each scroll twist knifed, but I scrolled on, hardening. He's happy. I'd ask Mom casual over pie. She'd sigh, fork pausing. Calls weekly. Asks after you. Heartbroken, that boy. Good. Lie but armor. Winter thawed walls. A holiday card arrived. Jake scrawl. Merry Christmas. Twin. Still unbreakable? J enclosed photo. Him mid-punch. Form flawless. But eyes shadowed. I pinned it to my corkboard, talisman and torture. Spring brought thaw. Theo and I official, handholds in quad, movie nights tangled innocent. He knew my story, vague strokes of family drama, and held space gentle. You're healing, he'd say, kissing temple. Grateful but hollow echoed. Then, the call. May, Mom's voice quaver. Jake's hurt. Bout last night, concussion, cracked ribs. Hospital in Urbana. Come? World halted. I drove reckless. Theo's texts ignored. Everything okay? Hospital loomed sterile, beeps mocking. Mom waited in lobby, hug bone crush. Room 312. Rough but talking. He looked small in the bed. Tubes snaking, bruises mottling like abstract art. Awake, eyes lighting fraction at sight. Alex. Swallow thick. Heard you took a dive. Weak chuckle. Slipped. Ethan's fault. Distracted me with pep talk. Pause. Heavy. You came. For Mom. Half-truth. Sat awkward, chair scraping. How bad? 3 weeks out. Season over. Deflation seeped. Scouts cooled. Might redshirt. Silence ballooned. Then burst. Why push so hard? For what? His gaze pinned, raw. For you. Always was. Even after. Thought proving myself would fix us. Us. Echo weary. Ethan fix it? He winced, literal and figurative. Tried. Easy like I said. But empty. Broke it off post-fight. Realized. Mirrors crooked without you. Tears pricked mutual. Hurt me, Jake. Bad. I know. Voice cracks. Betrayed us both. Scared of the depth, the twin thing loving like that. Thought normalcy would save me. Normalcy's a lie. Bitter wisdom. We're us. Messy. Unbreakable. He reached, hand trembling. I took it. Calluses familiar. Forgive. Not yet. Honest. But here. Healing stitched slow. Visits weekly, drives up, smuggling contraband comics, sparring stories verbal only. Ribs mended crooked. A reminder. Concussion fog lifted gradual. Ethan faded full. A footnote. Mom beamed at our thawing, dinner's double portions. Summer bridged. I sublet near Urbana. Diner gig paused for rec center shifts. Irony noted. Spotting newbies while Jake rehabbed beside. We'd mit-tap gentle. Laughter bubbling at old flubs. Remember Peoria Dive? He'd tease, dodging my swat. How could I forget? Your dramatic feint. Evenings, river picnics, full circle, blanket spread, fireflies witnesses. Kisses reignited tentative. Chaste pecks escalating to holds that healed fractures. Slow, I'd caution, and he'd nod, patient. No rush. Redemption's pace. Fall found us reunited. My transfer reversed. Credits salvaged for UIUC co-op program. Dorms swapped for off-campus apartment. Rent split, walls thin but ours. Life layered. Classes clashing. Jake's comeback bouts. My poetry readings where he'd front row clap thunderous. Campus embraced. GLBTQ ally mixers where we debuted tandem, hands clasped bold, stories shared in tags. Twins. Jaws dropped, then cheers. Pride swelled, not just survival. But conflict lingered, shadow faithful. Junior year, Jake's star ascended, national qualifiers, endorsements whispering. Pressure mounted. Nights, he'd pace, fists clenching phantom. What if I peak and plummet? Leave you behind. Won't. Firm. We're synced, remember? Synced, but strains showed. A road trip for his bout in Philly, me tagging, hotel shared. Pre-fight jitters peaked. He sought distraction. Hands wandering urgent. We paused at edges. Breaths ragged. Want you? He confessed, forehead to mine. All. Me too. Whisper vow. But right. Us first. Gnawed a scent, but hunger simmered. Climax crested spring senior year, NCAA Nationals in Vegas, neon promise amid stakes. Jake's path golden. Undefeated streak, finals berth against a phenom from Cal. I flew out, front row fever. Arena pulsed electric. His entrance boomed, gloves gleaming. Bout brutal ballet. Cal kid aggressive, hooks hurricane. Jake weaved, countered crisp, but round 3 haymaker connected. Jake staggered. Rope-a-dope. Crowd gasped. I gripped armrests, nails biting. He rallied, flurry felling the phenom in 5. TKO glory. Confetti blizzard. Podium gold draped. Flashes frenzy. But his eyes sought mine. Anchor. Post-ceremony gala swirled. Suit stiff. Schmoozes slick. A promoter cornered. Pro circuit. Kid. LA offer 6 figures. Endorsements. Solo shot. Jake's grin faltered. Glance my way. Later, hotel suite, champagne popped, but talk turned tide. LA, he tested, bubbles fizzing. Big leagues. What about you? Lit grad school pending, Evanston, Northwestern, hour north of Chicago. Go, I urged, heart clenching. Your dream. Ours. Correction soft. Can't without. You can. Lie brave. Won't hold you. Silence stormed. That's the problem. Always holding. Twins, remember? Can't cut the cord. Then what? Desperation edged. Sacrifice your shot? Yours too. He paced, gold medal swinging. Evanston's your path, words. Teaching. I follow, we stagnate. Or thrive. Counter. Together. Together. Mock echo now. Like before? Betraying ourselves. Old wound ripped. This different. Is it? Challenge. Pushing again. For you or me? Words warred. I stormed balcony, Vegas sprawl glittering false. He followed, arms encircling from behind. Don't. Love you too much to lose. Love. Turn, cup his face. Then fight for it. Not the ring. Kiss sealed. Fierce, teeth grazing, hands fisting shirts. Vegas heat amplified. But we held line. Breath's anchor. Decide. I murmured against pulse. With me. Dawn brought clarity. Pro deferred. 1 year. He vowed over room service. Train here, grad school tandem. Prove we can. Relief flooded. But doubt's seed planted. Sacrifices shadow. Senior year crested bittersweet, decisions dominoing. Jake inked a local sponsorship, Midwest circuit, weekends only, balancing classes, coaching gig at the rec. I dove into thesis. A chapbook of twin verses, raw ribbons of us. Apartment hummed harmony. Shared chores, midnight brainstorming, bodies entwining chaste but charged. Spoon sleeps. Morning coffees laced with love yous. Grad school apps synced. Northwestern joint program, him kinesio masters, me MFA lit. Acceptances dual dated. Champagne toasts on the balcony overlooking campus elms. To unbreakable. Clinking glasses, his free hand tracing my knuckles. But shadows lengthened. Jake's bouts drew crowds. Local rags dubbing Twin Thunder. Speculation swirling on our closeness. A profile piece probed. The unbreakable bond. Brotherly or more? Jake dodged deft. Family's everything. But eyes and photos sought mine vulnerable. Campus life layered. Pride parades rainbow washed. Where we'd march hands high, cheers cathartic. Friends bloomed. Theo reconnected platonic. Wingman at readings. A study buddy duo. Queer lit nerds dissecting Whitman with us over IPAs. Belonging bloomed. Elmwood's chokehold loosening. Yet conflict coiled. Summer pre-grad. Jake's title defense in Chicago, Windy City whirlwind. I tagged. Front row at the Aragon Ballroom. Art Deco echoes amplifying stakes. Opponent. Grizzled vet. Comeback kid with a rep for dirty. Bout savage. Vet's elbows strayed low. Jake's guard slipped once. Crack to the temple. Blood arc. I surged aisle ward. Security halting. Heart vice. He endured, rallied ruthless. A clinch knee, ref warning. Then uppercut finale dropping the vet cold. Victory roar deafened. But post-fight haze. CT scan clean, but Jake's eyes glassy. Felt it, Alex. The edge. We drove home silent, his hand on my thigh. Anchor. Apartment. Ice packs and whispers. Quitting after this, he declared, voice steel. Prose poison. Want life with you, not gloves. Relief cascaded, but undercurrent tugged. Regrets whisper? Fall graduation dawn triumphant. Caps airborne, families flooding. Mom front row, tears streaming, hugging double. My miracles. Diplomas clutched, photos snapped. Us in gowns, arms slung, grins genuine. Post-ceremony bash. Apartment overflowed, toast sloshing. Jake pulled me aside mid-swirl, balcony hush. Proud of us. Me too. Kiss soft, city lights halo. Evanston beckoned autumnal, New Shores, Lake Michigan. Waves whispering welcome. Shared studio walk-up, rent pinched but cozy. Bookshelves groaning, heavy bag in corner relic. Programs rigorous. His labs dissecting biomechanics, mine workshops birthing poems from pain. Evenings balanced. Runs along the lakeshore, feet sinking eternal. Dinners experimental, laughter at scorched stir-fries. Love deep and deliberate. Date nights at jazz dives, hands laced under tables. Slow dances in kitchen to Coltrane, bodies swaying seamless. Boundaries blurred gradual. First full night, his dormered room, candles guttering. Sure, he breathed, hovering. Sure. Affirmation, and we crossed gentle explorations, reverent, gasps mapping new territories. Afterglow tangled, his head on my chest. Home, home. The word rooted us through winter's gale, blizzards blanketing, but warmth within. Holidays home. Mom's tree twinkling, Elmwood visit laced with caution. Town tongues wagging, but we held hands subtle at the diner, her pride quiet shield. Spring unfurled revelations. My chapbook published indie, mirrors unbroken, dedication simple. 4J, my reflection. Launch reading packed, Jake front row beaming, Q&A tag teaming vulnerabilities. Sales modest, but validation vast. A queer lit agent pinged. Potential series? Jake's thesis defended flawless, job offer stacking. High school coach in Evanston, or college assistantship. He chose local, building here, with you. But climax shadowed summer. A letter from LA promoter, revived offer, post-grad glow-up, twin angle cells. Jake stared, envelope long, crumple half-hearted. Tempting. Was. Firm. Not now. Doubt flickered. Regret. His eyes cleared. Never. You. Never. Lie partial. Paths diverged, but converged stronger. True storm brewed fall post-grad. Mom's diagnosis, lungs, from years smoke and stress. Stage 2 treatable but chemo loomed. We shuttled weekends, Elmwood runs now hospital vigils. Mom frail but fierce. Don't hover, boys. Live your lives. Her hand in ours. Tandem. Proud. Of this. Squeeze meaningful. Jake cracked private, nights pacing, tears silent. Can't lose her. Like dad. Won't. Anchor. We're enough. Treatment grueled. Good days pie baking, bad nausea nursed. We rotated. My readings paused. His coaching lightened. Bond burnished. Twins tending. Love's labor intimate. Remission whispered winter solstice. Scans clear. Mom's grin sun return. Told you warriors. We three hugged. Tears salt sweet. Year 2 Evanston stabilized. My adjunct gig teaching comp. Poems percolating. Jake's team state bound. Mentoring kids with our old fire. Life layered human. Brunches with allies. Road trips to indie fights. Not his, but spectated hand-clasped. Betrayal's echo faded full. Forgiveness forged in fires. One anniversary, year since Vegas, we revisited the river, blanket spread, fireflies encore. Changed everything, he murmured, nuzzling neck. For better. Kiss seal. Yet humanistic close. Not fairy dust, but grit. We thrived. Not unscathed, scars from pushes, pulls, pauses. Twins, lovers, survivors. Unbreakable not in perfection, but persistence. Elmwood's fields called occasional, roots-grounding flights. Mom's diner stool reserved tandem, stories swapped over coffee black. In quiet moments, lakeside dawns, his head on my shoulder. Push me still. Always. Grin shared. To more. And we ran, together eternal stride. Epilogue whisper. Years on, a home upstate. Rings simple on fingers. Vows whispered lakeside. Kids, not blood, but chosen. Foster runs, hearts mended. Jake coaches youth, I pen tales. Mom visits, grandma's hugs. Changed everything? Hell yes. For a life worth every punch.